The point of my modest but ever so entertaining dissertation is that tonight I'm appearing on a program that might not have existed had not I paved the way.
That was humble Howie Cosell's monologue during his guest appearance on SNL. He did create a program with that title first. Many sports fans would also say he paved the way for how sports are enjoyed today on Monday Night Football. He told it like it is and playfully teased his fellow hosts. He was a celebrity in his own right until the day he went too far. Keep watching to learn about the controversial comment that got Howard Cosell fired from Monday Night Football.
My rights.
You hear him? Down goes Frazier!
To see you, John.
And that little monkey!
The beginning. Howard Cosell was born March 25, 1918 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He had an older brother, Hilton, and was raised in Brooklyn, New York City. He graduated from North Carolina Law School in 1940, passing the bar in 41. He represented entertainment and sports figures in his practice. That gave him the idea in 1953 to start a radio show. It let Little League players question Major League Baseball stars. Howard abandoned his practice 3 years later to become a full-time broadcaster. He also changed his last name to the original Polish version of his grandfather's surname as a way to honor him. Howard was well known for his work on ABC Sports from 1953 to 85. He was an expert sports broadcaster with a confident and often rude demeanor that got him ironically nicknamed Humble Howard. He admitted, quote, "I've been called arrogant, pompous, obnoxious, vain, cruel, verbose, a show-off, and of course, I am." His bold and controversial style set him apart and influenced sports broadcasting forever. He commented on a range of events, including boxing, football, and the Olympics. He was best known for Monday Night Football. He had great banter with the other broadcasters Frank Gifford and Don Meredith. He also had a popular radio show called Speaking of Sports. ABC Radio president Robert Pauley told him he couldn't develop it unless he found a sponsor, but he did. He also became an anchor for WABC-TV from 1961 to 74. Howard and boxing. One specific athlete helped Howard rise to fame more than most others. That was Cassius Clay. Howard was the first to publicly call him by the name he became known for, Muhammad Ali. They became friends despite differing personalities. They enjoyed roasting each other, with the boxer often calling the broadcaster's hairpiece a squirrel or some other furry animal. Their relationship was close like brothers. Howard even once said,
Muhammad, I don't care what any of these detractors have to say. If I was shipwrecked on a desert island and I could pick one man to have as my companion, I'd pick you. On a desert island you need.
Howard supported Ali when he refused to be inducted into the military during the Vietnam War, and his championship title was taken from him. The case went to the Supreme Court, but he won. Howard called many of Ali's fights after a 3-year exile in October of 1970. He did miss 2 of the biggest, including the famous Rumble in the Jungle. He attended, but only did a voiceover of the first Ali versus Joe Frazier fight in March of '71. One of his most famous fight calls was between Joe Frazier and George Foreman. They fought for the World Heavyweight Championship in 1973. George kicked Joe to the mat the first of 6 times 2 minutes into the first round. Howard famously yelled, "Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!"
You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
It's now one of the most quoted lines in broadcasting history. Howard and Lenon. Howard was friendly with John Lennon and had interviewed him several times. One was an October 1974 broadcast of his radio show, Speaking of Everything. The other was a casual conversation during a game on Monday Night Football.
Mr. John Lennon.
Hello,
John,
Howard.
nice to see you, John.
Nice
Want
to
to
meet
move
you.
that up just a little closer?
How are you?
What's been your view of this American professional football scene?
It's an amazing event and sight. It makes rock concerts look like tea parties.
December 8th, 1980 was a day that even Howard couldn't make light of. He had to publicly announce the death of an icon. He was calling a game between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins when he got the call. Suddenly, he learned that Beatles superstar John Lennon had been shot outside his apartment building. He can faintly be heard saying in an off-air conversation with his co-anchor Frank Gifford, quote, "I can't see the game situation allowing for that news flash." He was later forced to deliver the news that John was dead to the public. He would rather have done anything else, but Frank told him he had to. Time was running out, so the Patriots used a timeout. Howard came back out and delivered the news the best he could. He said,
Remember, this is just a football game, no matter who wins or loses. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
Doctors officially confirmed John's death 20 minutes later, forcing him to announce it again. Frank Gifford later praised his handling of the moment. Feuds. Howard, of course, did not make friends every time he went to a game. He often made enemies with his patented tell-it-like-it-is attitude. Fellow New York Daily News columnist Dick Young was one of his biggest enemies. He'd call him Howie the Fraud, or fill their broadcasts with profanities so they couldn't be used. Sports writer Jimmy Cannon also called him a fake. ABC's Chris Economaki said he had a major ego and was, quote, the most pompous man he'd ever met. Their feud began after Jimmy missed a cue, which Howard never let him forget. Bob Costas never had anything personal against him. He said many of the feuds that Howard started were ways to protect his fame, saying,
He resented Al Michaels, he resented me and others that he couldn't easily dismiss as lightweights because he wanted preeminence. And in a way, he had preeminence. He had a broad fame. Famously, when TV Guide really mattered, there was a TV Guide poll, and he won both favorite and least favorite sports broadcaster in the same poll.
The controversial comment. The game was on, with the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. The date was September 5th, 1983, and the show, of course, was Monday Night Football. Alvin Garrett was the wide receiver for the Redskins in '83. He narrowly escaped a tackle to get a first down against the Cowboys.
And that little monkey gets loose, doesn't it?
Comparing an African-American player like Alvin to a monkey did not go over well. Viewers called in to ABC to complain. Black leaders like Reverend Joseph Lowery demanded a public apology. Howard denied even making the comment at first, but then owned up to it. He explained he never meant anything racist by it, only using the term to comment on Alvin's small size and agility. He had also called a white player, Mike Adams, a little monkey before for the same reason. Video proved this to be the case. Despite being so controversial, Howard had a long history of supporting black athletes. He supported the use of Black Power salutes during the Olympic Games by sprinters John Carlos and Tommy Smith. Muhammad Ali came to his defense. Even Alvin himself said he didn't feel the statement was meant to be demeaning. He'd even used the words little monkey to describe his small grandchildren. Despite this, the incident wore down Howard's morale. He called the show a stagnant bore. He resigned from the Monday Night Football booth and sports altogether by the end of the season. His career after the incident. Howard did manage to stay on ABC. He formed a new 30-minute program in 1984 called Sports Beat, which he later said was his favorite. It also won plenty of Emmys. The show lasted for only a year until Howard found himself in another controversy. He released a memoir in 1985 called I Never Played the Game. It featured uncomplimentary portraits of former ABC colleagues, so they canceled the show. Howard went back to the radio after that. He retired in 1992, 6 months after surgery to remove a cancerous chest tumor. Howard's death and legacy. Howard Cosell died at 77 of a cardiac embolism on April 23, 1995. He's buried at West Hampton Cemetery in West Hampton, New York. His family is also part of the entertainment world. His daughter Hillary was the producer of Sports World and one of the first women sports producers. She was also the senior producer of her father's show, Speaking of Everything, an assistant producer of ABC News 2020, and winner of 4 Emmy nominations. His nephew Greg is a senior producer at NFL Films. His grandson Colin is following in his footsteps even closer as the public address announcer at Citi Field. home of the New York Mets. Howard earned the #1 spot on David Halberstam's list of top 50 all-time network television sports anchors in January of 2009. The sports complex at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem was named after him. He was posthumously awarded a Sports Emmy for Lifetime Achievement. He also earned the posthumous honor of being in the Observers category in the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2010. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Howard Cosell? Let us know in the comments section below.